But net zero has basically tripled electricity prices over the last 30 years, according to a new report. So let's find out from Andrew. When is anyone going to actually see the light here, Andrew? Very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. Yeah, I think the Conservatives seem to be working their way round to opposing net zero, but it's not quick. They've said it's impossible by 2050, which is absolutely true. I'd go further and say it's impossible, full stop. Unless somebody comes up with some miracle technology to deliver it at a price we can afford. But yeah, there is only Reform out there who are absolutely clear that we're just not going to do it, and we're going to cancel it.
Right.
I think the interesting thing about this report is that it does highlight how much money it is costing us. It focuses very much on the electricity system, but I think we have to remember that net zero is also costing us in other ways. The government are spending huge amounts on net zero. So there's a government expenditure cost that the people, ordinary households, are having to fund as well, and that's going to be well over £10 billion a year on top of 15-16 billion pounds a year of subsidies and inefficiencies in the electricity system, and there's things like tax breaks to green things as well that's costing us money as well, and it really adds up. If we cancel net zero, we can put a huge amount of money back into, if you like, the productive parts of the economy.
But this is one of the things that's infuriating, isn't it, about the two main parties, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, who keep accusing Nigel Farage of coming up with fantasy economics and saying, he says he's going to save all this money and he's going to give us tax breaks and he's going to raise the threshold to 20,000 for income tax and all of that, but he can't afford to do it. And whenever you say, he can afford to do it, he says that he's going to cancel net zero. They all go, yeah, but his numbers on net zero are nothing like the reality of net zero, which I think means that they're being very disingenuous, because looking at some of the figures that I've got in front of me, energy subsidies are locked in, leading to projected consumer cost increases of 20% by 2030, up to more or less £16 billion. Combined with carbon taxes, they now account for 25% of domestic electricity bills, compared to what it used to be, which was only 14%. And there's all sorts of subsidies not only being given to people through your electricity bill, but also people being handed out money by GB Energy, people being given grants to develop, North Sea, wind farm fields and all the rest of it. So the cost of net zero on an annual basis is far more than just that 16 billion in the first place, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think in terms of reaching Reform's idea of increasing the amount of tax-free allowance, if you like, to 20,000, I think that is going to be a struggle, because obviously subsidies to wind farms are levies on bills, not public spending. So that is going to be difficult to achieve. I think if they really want to do that, they're probably going to have to look at the benefits system in a serious way, which frankly needs doing anyway.
Right.
But the amount of money that we can save consumers through their bills is absolutely enormous. And at the moment we have this huge burden of net zero on the whole economy. It is holding everything back. And if we do away with it, then I think we will move off this sort of downward spiral of the economy, which is frankly very worrying now. And we can reverse that. We can go back to a virtuous spiral, if you like, where things get better and better. Business starts to grow, the tax take grows, and we can start to remove further burdens from consumers. The idea that this is some sort of a fantasy is, the fantasy is coming from Ed Miliband.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, he's spending, as you mentioned, he's spending, £20 billion he wants to put into carbon capture, which is a technology that basically doesn't yet exist. It's on the drawing board. There is no carbon capture equipped gas-fired power station anywhere in the world. Nobody's ever got it to work. But Miliband says he's going to spend £20 billion on it. I mean, this is insane. This is complete fantasy. And this is the problem that has afflicted the country for 2 decades now. We have politicians who are essentially dealing with fantasy rather than hard numbers and facts.
Yes, and then immediately they accuse other people of that. Exactly right. Andrew, we've got to run. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us, Director of Net Zero Watch. The other